The NTSB is reviewing the black boxes from the Midair collision. We'll share the latest.
And this weekend might be a great time to check out a local farmers market. We'll talk about the Bentonville Winters Farmers Market.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News First at 4.
Thanks for joining us for your 5 News First at 4, and happy Friday. I'm
Yes.
Burnley.
And I'm Darren Bob. We need to visit with now Joshua Weisel about the weekend forecast. What else can you say? But oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly. You said it right. It's going to be a perfect weekend. But before we get to that, we're getting rid of these clouds that are over the area. You could see just a little bit of rain activity that's pushing off to the east. But so far, it looks like all the activity is starting to wrap up in our area. You can even see the river valleys clear. If we move on to our live cams outside, notice northwest Arkansas, still some lingering cloud coverage. But as we make our way over to Fort Smith, take a look at this. Bright sunshine, really just a couple clouds in the sky. It's a beautiful evening or afternoon into the evening right now in the river valley, and it's only going to continue to clear out. So northwest Arkansas just a little bit longer with those clouds, and the river valley is a perfect afternoon and evening already with that clear sky that's starting to move into the area. So make sure that you get out and enjoy it. Now, the headlines that we're going to be talking about: some fog is going to develop tonight. We have a great weekend ahead and a warming trend with some unseasonable highs. I'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit.
Thanks, Joshua. Crews are still working around the wreckage in the water from the plane-blackhawk collision. CBS's Erica Brown is at Reagan National sharing what's happening with this investigation as one of the victims' dads talks about who his son was.
Recovery teams are still at work trying to retrieve bodies and wreckage from the icy Potomac River.
We expect to recover all of the bodies. We're going to have to work with the salvage company to do some of that work.
Nearly 50 investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board are looking into the devastating collision of American Airlines Flight 5342 and a Black Hawk helicopter. Investigators recovered the plane's black boxes, which they hope contain a record of crucial flight details.
Give us a lot of data points. They can tell us about communications that we may not know about.
Preliminary flight data indicates at the time of the crash, both aircraft appeared to have been flying at about 400 feet. Military helicopters are supposed to stay below 200 feet. CBS News has learned 2 air traffic controllers were each doing multiple jobs at the time. Former acting FAA Administrator Billy Nolan.
They are well qualified and they are able to multitask. By that I mean you could be handling, even singular controllers are handling multiple flights at any busy airports.
The NTSB will look at staffing along with mechanics, environment, and other factors in their investigation. They have warned against speculation which could be harmful to the probe and to victims' families.
I couldn't have asked for a better son.
29-year-old helicopter crew chief Ryan O'Hara survived the tour in Afghanistan, but was sadly among the victims of Wednesday's deadly collision. His father, in a TV exclusive with CBS, says Ryan loved his job.
They would often do night missions in D.C. He loved it, and most of the guys that he flew with loved it, and he loved his flight crew.
The 67 victims of this tragedy include members of the U.S. figure skating community, many of them young people. Erica Brown, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
So far, the remains of 41 people have been recovered. We're expecting to get an update from NTSB later this evening. That press conference is scheduled for 4:30.
An uptick in student illness forcing some schools throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma to close today. Roland, Cameron, Worcester, and Marietta districts in Oklahoma all were virtual learning today. Mansfield School District says extremely high absentee rates led them to close. As of January 25th, the Oklahoma Department of Health reported a 34% influenza positivity rate. In Arkansas, the Department of Health reporting a high flu activity level. Doctors say closing schools can help stop the spread of easily transmittable viruses like the flu.
If we're seeing very high numbers hitting a certain area, then it's sort of a good, fire break or whatever, you would use if you're talking about a wildfire. It's a good strategy to use to prevent just a further exponential growth of this over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, Dr. Sidden says even if children are at low risk for the flu, they can transmit to a vulnerable population such as family members who are older or have pre-existing conditions.
The Bentonville Farmers Market is a staple for fresh produce and handmade goods, but did you know that the market doesn't stop when the temperatures drop? 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley shows us how it's still going strong inside.
The Bentonville Farmers Market doesn't take the winter off.
You can find pretty much any product that you can find at the outdoor market. You can find here. We have a lot of produce, fruits, veggies. We have meat vendors. We have mushrooms, jewelry, any artisanal good we sell here.
Instead, it moves inside, giving vendors a chance to keep selling and shoppers a way to support local business all year long. Every Saturday, farmers and vendors set up inside Record, bringing fresh produce, handmade treats, and artisan goods to the community. Vendors, like Deserved Chocolate, say the indoor market helps them make a profit even when it's too cold for an outdoor setup.
We make all handcrafted chocolate bark and other confections, so from caramels to marshmallows to dipped treats.
It's no secret that the outdoor market brings crowds to the square in the spring and summer. Downtown Bentonville says this past outdoor season brought nearly $3 million in sales. And the indoor market provides a steady income for vendors who might otherwise struggle in the off-season, while also keeping the community connected to local goods.
It's a lot harder for them to sell during the winter, mostly because of the weather. And I think that what we have is a really special and unique market, because you don't see a lot of cities that can host an indoor market.
Vendor Candace Hankins says the indoor market has made a name for itself.
There's a lot of different events going on, and it's become really like a staple of the weekend for downtown Bentonville.
The indoor market will keep local goods flowing every Saturday from 9 to noon at Record until March 15th. Then in April, it moves back outdoors, kicking off another busy season on the square. In Bentonville, covering news where you live, Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
Well, the weather this weekend is going to be nice and warm like spring, so we wanted to share a few things you can go check out.
In Springdale, the Groundhog 5K is happening out at the J.B. Hunt Park starting at 8 tomorrow morning. 5K race will begin at the J.B. Hunt Park Loop and cross onto the Razorback Greenway before finishing back up at the park.
It's the return of the Fort Smith Polar Plunge. The event is put on by Fort Smith Police. It supports Special Olympics Arkansas. It starts tomorrow morning out at Creekmore.
It's going to be in the 60s. That's not a polar plunge.
Come on.
Frost Fest Beer Festival returns this weekend. It's all getting going tomorrow at the Washington County Fairgrounds. More than 50 craft breweries will be on hand, as well as food trucks and a whole lot of live music.
It is a great way for the community to come out and get together for a winter day in the Ozarks, just celebrating all of the amazing small and independent craft breweries that are located throughout the region.
Of course, it'll run from 1 to 6 tomorrow.
The Chinese Association of Northwest Arkansas hosting the 2025 Chinese New Year Gala at the Fayetteville Public Library. It starts at 4:30 tomorrow with a special show scheduled for 6:30.
And the Amazeum in Bentonville unveiling a new exhibit this weekend. The new exhibit called Measurement Rules, where it will explore concepts of length, time, volume, and weight in a number of different ways. It'll open to the public starting Sunday, and it'll be there until May.
And here's a quick look at your traffic. As you can see, we're starting off in the River Valley. This is Highway 540 at the Arkansas River. And notice traffic's flowing freely. Not a whole lot of traffic issues across the region. And then take a look at those beautiful blue skies. The clouds are starting to clear away in the River Valley. And speaking of those weekend activities, it's going to be perfect for those activities as we head into the weekend. I'll have more on that forecast coming up in just a little bit.
People